Hey everybody, we're going to take a little break today and on the what you doings, when you get back to it, we have some great ones coming up, and we're going to give you a little tech tip on something you can do in a problem that's been really common for all of us Healey owners. And for our purpose today, we are showing you what we do on this problem with the BJ8 Phase 2, and that's our dash pads and the problem that pops up with them even when they've been replaced with an aftermarket. So this is Tom's BJ8 Phase 2. We finally got our boot cover in, so we're able to put that on, and it's back here to get all this orange peel wet sanded off and compounded and clay barred and waxed and sealed and buffed to a mirror finish while it's here by Angelo, and he's going to be doing videos on each step showing y'all how to do it yourself and the correct way, and it'll be posted on his URL where I have my first 3 videos. So we'll send those out and you can learn what to do there. But let's get to the tech tip. All right, this is a problem we have on so many of our dash pads, is that this vinyl right here, which, matter of fact, this is a pretty recent one. It's a reproduction. And it didn't take long before this happened. Underneath the finishing pieces for the vents, for the defrosters and defogger, the vinyl has come out from underneath and exposing the foam. And what causes that is that when it gets hot and cold in summer and winter, this vinyl shrinks. And when it shrinks, it pulls out from underneath and won't fit under there anymore and looks terrible. This did it pretty fast. And here's why. When this was done, the vinyl here for the slots underneath for the vents to blow up on the window, that vinyl was cut completely away right to the edge here. All right, the original ones, they would take this little bit of vinyl, slit it in the middle and glue it over, and that would hold it until the glue came out, and then it would pull apart. But so we see this on early and late dash pads all the time. This was cut out too much, so when they put this on, it was barely under here anyway, and then it didn't take but a little bit of summer and winter time and it's all pulled out. Can't fix it, so here's what I do to fix it, and it never happens again. All right, you're going to throw all this vinyl away and start over. That's what you're going to do. And here's what you're going to get. This is one that is an original, but wood was in great shape, just refoam and new upholstery, and I reupholstered it. And there was no rot. So everything lines up really good. So what I do is, after I do this, and then I take these and sand them down and paint them and refinish them. And I have to do that. This one will get the same because this is an original, because I bought the replacements, and the replacements look good, but the problem is these 3 studs that have the speed nut that holds them down on the dash pad, those studs, and they're metal, have to fit in the 3 holes on any of our Healeys at the vents, and there's holes for those to drop into. If they don't drop into that, they sit on top of here, and your dash pad sits way up here instead of going down like it's supposed to. All right, so when I got the replacements in, this one fit, lined up with it, the old one. This lined up with the old one pretty good. I could bend it to make it work. This one here, way off over here. No way on the planet was that ever going to fit the body of the car and ever go on. It was ridiculous. So just sent them back. And then I took these and I sand them down and I repaint them and finish them in with black paint, and they look great, and I know that these are going to drop in the holes. So that's wonderful. All right, so here's what I did. After they're reupholstered and this is refinished, and I've revinylized this with new vinyl, like I did this one, When I put these on, I turn it back over, and I take this, like an awl, I put it in front of my blowtorch, I get it hot. You don't have to get it cherry red, but you get it hot, and I go in between here as a guide, and I just make little holes, vent holes. It just melts through. You ain't got to poke it through. Just let it melt through. Okay? I also remove all of the foam that's right behind it carefully when I refoamed it. And this is what it looks like when you're done. That gives enough air to get to vent for your defoggers and defrosters. See the difference? Wow, see, it's not a big slot anyway. So by doing it this way, it guarantees that there's fabric holding this together here and here, and this can never, ever, 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 ever pull out from underneath, no matter how hot and cold and how much this shrinks. Problem is solved, and it won't look like this. Not a problem. If your dash pad is able to be reused and it's an older one and it fits good, try to just reupholster it, because this replacement here, one other issue when I took it out that I didn't know it had, but I do now, is that the original measurements from here to the center of this, past, through the center of this to here, 7 inches. Perfect. This one, when I noticed I was taking it off, I had bent my tabs, undone the mirror, on this too, and I went, it's not pushing back where it's supposed to. So 7 inches for there. I measured here from there to here to the edge, 7 1/4. So I've got 1/4 inch more wood that'll even fit there. So what I'm gonna have to do is, when I take the staples out from this reproduction and the foam off, I got to put this wood piece and these out, wood piece up there, and figure out where it needs to be recut and reshaped so these holes will fit. And it didn't come with any T-nuts for the, like this one, which I JB welded more in place, but they had T-nuts to put these snaps for the future tonneaus in the old original. It didn't have any of that, just some places you could punch holes. What happened was this is so far off that when somebody put this on, this is the holes that you should be using for your mirror, and they had to drill them down here to get the mirror to fit. So that means this thing was sitting that way, almost a 1/2 inch off from where it should be. So I got to reshape all this. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I'm crying, I'm bitching. When you unupholster, whether it's got some tacks here or whatever, you can take those out. Save your piece. Saving your piece will help you learn how you cut the ends for folding it over and making a pattern. I glue back here because it's all it needs, and it don't have staples. This is pretty thick, so I staple this so if I ever have a problem that I've done something wrong here and I need to pull out a wrinkle or anything, I can undo the staples. These are come all stapled. So that's the problem, that's the cure, and you won't have that issue anymore. You'll have that. Big difference between the two. Yuck. All right, so that's your tech tip, and I'll be back with others. And basically, other than having some screws in the earlier smaller dash pads that are not as wide here, there'll be a screw here through into here to hold it into place. And you'll see that they also have your twist locks for the tonneau to go there on the earlier ones. Those screw into there. Those you have to do. But then once you get everything back in, you bend the clips back over, your mirror goes back on. There are threaded holes here for the mirror base for the screws to go through, and for BJ8 that holds it. All right, so that's it. If you're brave, reupholster yours. I'm not feeling too comfortable about saying you can buy a new dash pad for a couple of $100, but if you get a new dash pad, is it going to be 7 1/4 inches where it should be 7? Is it going to be done like this, and you're going to see that? Or did somebody else just do this? I don't know. Somebody else just made it themselves. I don't know. I don't know the history of this. But I do know that the history of doing it this way and putting these holes in, and nothing like getting your holes punched through by just heating up your dowel. Don't try to drill it out. You'll tear it all to pieces. Just get that hot, stick it in the hole. It'll melt it out, and it cauterizes it too so it doesn't fray. It's cauterized. All right, that's all I got. I hope it's a tech tip that you can play with, and I will be back with more what you're doing, and got some real great ones coming up too. Just haven't been able to get them out yet, and try to get to that, but you know, trying to make enough money to stay alive too. Y'all take care now, and I'll see you soon.